I've been doing a lot of movie watching lately. I mean, obviously, I'm a film student. But over the last couple of weeks in particular, I've been rewatching a bunch of my comfort movies to keep my spirits up, since I always get depressed this time of year when the sun sets at 5 p.m. And I also just finished marathoning all the live-action Spider-Man movies to prepare myself for No Way Home. Naturally, this marathon included a rewatch of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, and my comfort movies project included Hayao Miyazaki's Kiki's Delivery Service. And it was after rewatching both of them in such close proximity to each other that it occurred to me. These movies are surprisingly perfect companion pieces. On the surface, they seem radically different. Spider-Man 2 is a mid-2000s action blockbuster about one of Marvel's most iconic superheroes, while Kiki's Delivery Service is an innocent little family film with minimal stakes, no villain to speak of, and a funny talking cat. And yet, they have something in common. That is, apart from the fact that they both feature Kirsten Dunst. Both of these movies are actually extremely relatable stories about the pressures of young adulthood and the struggles that come with finding yourself as you head out into the world. The protagonists of both Kiki's Delivery Service and Spider-Man 2 are young people trying to make it independently in the city. They both have a special gift which they use to help people out. The young witch Kiki uses her flying ability to start the titular delivery service, and the superpowered Peter Parker lives a secret double life as the hero Spider-Man. For both characters, their work quickly becomes stressful and overwhelming. Peter Parker's personal life falls apart as he loses his job, starts underperforming in class, and is unable to admit to his clearly reciprocated feelings for his love Mary Jane, all because of his commitment to his responsibilities as Spider-Man. Being a superhero actually becomes something of a curse for him. Kiki, meanwhile, eventually becomes so swamped with work that she's unable to let herself be a kid. She ends up missing a party that she promised to go to and almost pushes away the people in town who show interest in being her friends. She wants to enjoy her youth, but she feels guilty whenever she's not doing something related to her work, which is a feeling that hits extremely close to home for most young adults. In both movies, the protagonist eventually reaches a point where the stress of their work becomes too much to handle and their sense of motivation is depleted. As a result, they suddenly lose their powers. In Kiki's Delivery Service in particular, this serves as a poignant and relatable metaphor that will be familiar to anyone who's ever experienced writer's block. When you've been doing the thing you love for so long that it becomes work, and suddenly you can no longer remember where you used to find the inspiration to do it in the first place. I can't even begin to describe how much this theme speaks to me personally. Without even thinking about it, I used to be able to fly. Now I'm trying to look inside myself to find out how I did it. Wow. Just way to come straight for me with that line, Miyazaki. And so, for both characters, it becomes necessary to take some time to focus on themselves for a little bit. Peter throws in the towel and begins to put more time into both his studies and his personal life, which we can see has a positive effect on his mental health. Kiki spends some time at a cabin with her friend Ursula, in whom she can confide her insecurities and struggles, and who equates her current situation with the creative blocks she faces as an artist. Of course, Peter and Kiki both eventually regain their mojo and their powers. In both cases, they're at least partially incentivized by someone important to them being placed in mortal danger, but also by something much more simple and poignant. The realization that their work was appreciated by their community. Even though it sometimes felt thankless and overwhelming, they did make a difference in the lives of the people around them, and sometimes that knowledge is all one needs to reignite their enthusiasm. Kiki's Delivery Service and Spider-Man 2 are both movies that children can watch and enjoy. When a kid watches Kiki, they're taken in by the simple story, vibrant colors, and cute character designs. And when they watch Spider-Man 2, they just enjoy watching Spidey swing through New York City battling Dr. Octopus. But both of these movies arguably play even better when watched through the eyes of an adult, when you suddenly find yourself able to relate to the characters and their more human struggles. They perfectly capture that feeling of frustration that most of us face. That sense that if we don't figure things out immediately, then we failed at adulting. And the understanding we must all come to that taking a bit of time off to focus on our mental health is nothing to be ashamed of. I don't know if Sam Raimi had Kiki's Delivery Service in mind when he was making Spider-Man 2, but in any case they make for an unexpectedly perfect double feature. At the end of the day, they leave you with this message. If doing what you love has become work and you're suddenly struggling to find inspiration, it's not the end of the world. Instead of being hard on yourself, sometimes all you need is a little break to reflect. Sooner or later, you'll rediscover what made you want to do it in the first place.
Pizza time.